Hello, hello, everyone. It's that time again. It's time to get cozy in front of the fire with your beverage and your blankie, maybe a scarf. I hope you all are enjoying the book In the Company of Witches. I am enjoying reading this. We are moving on to chapter 15. So here we go. We were just playing. I swear, Oscar arched an eyebrow at me. But at least he wasn't saying anything. I see. Williams came down the wide steps of her house, her mild gray cardigan sweater wrapped tight in her body. She eyed me in a way that made me think no student would ever dare plagiarize a paper in her class. Regardless of whatever this is, I'm glad you're here. I was hoping I'd get a chance to talk to you. I blinked. Williams, you know you're welcome to stop by any time. She looked briefly over to the B&B. I wasn't sure how Nora would feel about that given everything that's happened. Everything that's happened? I was afraid to ask exactly what it was she was referring to. I had been blindsided a lot lately. You are aware I was questioned by the police. We all were, she said, looking around the neighborhood. They took Mr. Henderson's security footage. Mr. Henderson had security footage? I looked over at the house, really seeing for the first time the camera perched on the wall by the driveway. I was going to have to look into that. I assumed you had spoken to them. I could suddenly see where she was going with this. But you have to know Nora wasn't being serious that night. That's just Nora being Nora. Yes, I am well aware, and I did try to convey that to the police, but my sense is that they were not willing to adopt my interpretation of events. I felt my shoulder drop. This, along with the mallet they had taken from Nora's greenhouse, I knew it meant they were building a case. Obviously, I already knew that to some extent, but hearing the concern in Williams's voice brought it home. I'm also afraid I need to apologize for something else. The morning after Constance died, I may have relayed the night's events to a few of my fellow council members. I want you to know it was never my intention to cast Nora in a poor light. If anything, I was trying to communicate what a horrible coincidence it was that she had been joking about taking care of Constance just moments before she'd passed. She ran a hand over her face. I was tired. I wasn't thinking. I nodded. I believe you when you say you had no ill intent. Regardless, living in a small town, I should have known better. We all make mistakes. Despite everything, I really did feel for her, given she probably didn't make mistakes very often. That, along with her love-hate relationship with my aunt, must have made it more difficult to bear. I'll certainly convey your apology to Nora. She nodded. Listen, I don't mean to worry you any further, but there's something else you should know. A cold, damp wind swirled around as a gray cloud moved over the sun. Have you heard about the upcoming town hall meeting? I shivered with cold. No, I haven't. I was afraid of that. Well, one has been called, an emergency meeting to address recent events. Town hall meetings had been the form of local government used in Evanfall since the 17th century. So it only made sense one had been called. Everyone had to know by now the police were investigating Constance's death. I can understand that. People want reassurance. Everything is being done to keep us safe. From what I've heard, Liz Graves is the one organizing this meeting. William gave me a pointed look. I fell silent, trying to process the new information. Constance's niece had organized the meeting. Williams put her hand lightly on my arm. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not for you and your aunts to attend, but if I were in your position, I would want to know what was going on. I looked at her in question. It was clear she had more to tell me. There have been rumors going around about strange incidents of vandalism. All nonsense, I'm sure. Williams looked uncomfortable. But some people are linking them to you and your family. We'll be there. Rumors were easier to spread behind people's back. It would be much more difficult for our neighbors to cast accusations with us there. Not that I could blame them entirely. Someone had killed Constance. It only made sense it would be we would be among the suspects. It still hurt though. Thank you for the heads up. She nodded. And please tell your aunt I am thinking only good thoughts for her. I wish I had been able to come up with a better story to tell the police. Maybe I could have led them in another direction. Williams, I said, genuinely shocked. Are you saying you would have lied to the police for Nora? I couldn't help but smile. She frowned at me. Just tell her what I said. And again, I apologize for speaking to anyone about what I heard that night. I'll be sure to tell Nora. Speaking of which, I couldn't finish the thought because the most startling sight had caught my eye. At some point, Dog must have come down from the trees because he was standing on the grass right beside Oscar. The two of them were staring at us, apparently following every word. Williams followed my gaze, at which point both creatures remembered themselves. Oscar barked furiously as Dog hopped around him in a circle. "Oh, no," Williams said to the pair. "It's far too late for that now. I saw everything." She headed for the house. The bulldog bounded after her. "To think I defended you!" Oscar barked. "And you were complicit this whole time?" Dog and I watched the two depart inside. Once the door had shut, I looked at the crow. "I guess one of us better tell the aunts about the town meeting." Dog made a big flap with his wings and took off. I frowned. "Thanks a lot."